Hey gorgeous, welcome to my channel in central Indiana. My garden is located in zone 6, and if you're new here, I hope that you enjoy this video. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. Today I'm just going to show you my beautiful alliums, gladiator alliums that are blooming right now. I have them spread around my garden. I have a bunch on the east side and I have a bunch on the west side, and they are both behaving as slightly different because of the amount of sun and the quality of sun that they get. This right here is my stepstone path. This side of the house is on the east side, so it only gets sun for a few hours in the morning until about noon, and after that it's just in complete shade. A lot of the plants that I have here are doing great, but today I'm just going to concentrate on showing you the gladiator alliums that I have in full bloom. For some reason, these alliums on this side of the house are the first to bloom. They're probably about 2 weeks ahead from the other sides of the garden. I don't know why. I don't know if they just prefer morning sun versus evening sun. Regardless, they look amazing. This is their second season that they are in bloom, and last year it was their first year blooming, and I just love them. I didn't do anything as far as fertilizing them after they were done last year, so I was a little worried in how they were going to do this year. But these guys are doing, they're doing so well. And one of the things that I didn't know about alliums is that they multiply. And the only reason why I know that is because they are giving me way more blooms this year versus last year. Now, I don't know if that's true for all kinds of alliums, but at least these gladiator ones, they're definitely ones that I will definitely get more of in the future. I know they can be a little bit expensive and they are huge. The bulbs that you get are like the size of an onion, literally. But they're just so lovely. And now that I know that they multiply, instead of trying to buy a bunch of them at once, I can definitely buy 2 or 3 at once, and I know they're going to do amazing. This bed is looking so lovely with all of these alliums in bloom, and although I have a few weeds like that huge one growing in that container, I think that the alliums just add that extra touch to this path. A couple of months ago, I divided this Anabelle hydrangea because it was definitely getting a little bit out of control. It loves this east side of the house, so I divided it. I took a few divisions, and some of you mentioned that you weren't sure if those divisions were going to take. And I just wanted you to keep this in mind. This is the Anabelle that I have. This is the mother plant. I love that it's nice and small because here in a couple of years it's probably going to go back to where the path is. And I just want you to keep this in mind because I'm going to show you the divisions here in a minute and how they're doing. Now, if we move towards the west side of the house, which is where I have the alliums blooming, you can tell that these alliums are just starting to bloom. Now, this is what I mean about having these alliums on the east side versus the west side. I don't know why, but these guys right here are definitely behind when the other When the other alliums that I just showed you were just starting to open, these guys didn't even have signs that they were ready. And it wasn't until a few days ago they started opening up. They're just starting. This is how they look when they just start to bloom. They are going to completely open up and get huge, just like the ones on the other side. And I am okay with that. I don't need them to be blooming at the same time, honestly. If they want to bloom a couple of weeks later, that's completely fine with me. But these guys right here definitely multiply, especially the ones on this side. I planted 5 bulbs 2 years ago, and last year I got 5 blooms. This year I counted 10 blooms. So they definitely double. The ones on this side definitely did not multiply, but I had to remove a hydrangea, a limelight hydrangea that I had here a couple of months ago. I don't know if that bloom did not like that because it kind of died on me. I am just going to grab a couple of more of those Allium gladiators, and then I'm going to plant them here this coming fall. Aren't those just so beautiful? Now let me show you the divisions that I took from that hydrangea Anabelle. I got 3 divisions total, and they were just little chunks of branches with as many roots that I could get as possible, and then I just planted those on different sides of my garden. I have had very good luck doing that, especially with Anabelle hydrangeas. I know that some of you had questions about doing that with limelines. I have not done that with limelines, but I know that you can propagate those paniculatas with just cuttings from the spring. This is one of the divisions that I took, and the other one is right behind it, and they're doing amazing. Now, one of the things that I noticed with my Anabelles, whether they're on the east side or the west side, is that by the end of the day, they look like they're dying. And I have learned that that's kind of what they do, especially on a hot day like today. We got close to 83 here in central Indiana. Yes, we are getting up in the 80s. They look like they're wilting, they look kind of sad, but they are fine. Believe me, they're fine. The other division that I have is definitely getting more shade than the other 2 divisions, and this one is right next to my salvia, one of my perennial salvias that I absolutely love, and it's doing really well as well. I don't know how well it's going to do because it's right underneath that tree, and it's definitely going to get more shade, but I think the Anabelle can handle that, so I'll just keep you updated on that. Sadly, one of the reports that I have to give you this year is that my honeysuckle, non-invasive honeysuckle that I have growing there, is completely covered with aphids. Again, last year I had a huge problem with aphids, especially in the honeysuckle. Nowhere else in my garden I had problems with them except that area with the honeysuckle, and it was completely devastated. I pruned that plant at about 1/3 of its size last year in the middle of summer, and the plant came back beautifully, healthy, strong. And this year actually I sprayed twice. Early in the spring I sprayed, and I thought, okay, maybe that will take care of the aphids, and it didn't. It is not as bad as last year, but they're definitely there. So unfortunately, I am highly considering removing that plant because I don't know that I want to be spraying constantly, and I also don't know if it's really going to help it in the long run with the blooms. So I don't know if I should give it just one more year, but honestly, I hate spraying with anything in my garden. I feel like I have plenty of varieties in my garden for pests to battle one another. Good pests, bad pests are all welcome, and sometimes I feel like they even out, they find a balance. But the aphids is definitely something that I don't know that I want to keep fighting with. So I don't know if you have any ideas for what I could plant there, something that blooms. I don't care if it's the spring or the summer. I'm thinking about some sort of big clematis or something like that. I might even consider doing annuals, honestly. But I'm about 80% convinced that honeysuckle needs to go. So that's all for this video, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed the updates. My alliums, I just have to share them with you because they're just amazing. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you on the next video.